I really loved Quicksilver by Callie Hart, and I decided to make a dress inspired by it. So I'm gonna show you how I made it while I tell you what happened in the book. Warning! I have no idea what I am doing. I learned how to sew myself, and you're definitely not going to learn anything from this video. So let's begin. In a world where water is sacred, Sirius gets questions by a city guard. She lies about her name, but proudly tells she's from the quarantined Third World. The guard grossed out tosses his gauntlet, which she takes and parkours up a sandstone wall with nearly sleeping as it buzzes in her hand. At Avery's workshop, where she sometimes works, she begs him to hide it. He's like, nope. Outside the tavern, she finds her brother Hayden, beaten and stuff, and puts the gauntlet in her backpack thingy and gives it to him. Then she confronts her one-night stand lover, Carrion Swift. Very good at, well, shady deals, I mean. He accuses Hayden of cheating and stabbing. Hints he knows about something stolen and warns of danger to the Third World because of it, and offers a warehouse storage. And Sirius goes, what? Okay, deal. But when she leaves, Hayden's missing. And a scream! She finds Hayden surrounded by guards. Sirius confesses to stealing the gauntlet, but Hayden shouts, "It was me." Sirius deletes 2 city guards from existence, gives another lifetime going to the chiropractor, and Hayden bolts. She's jailed, and she throws spicy words at Captain Haron, and ends up face to face with Queen Madra. Royalty, Pete, yes to both. And about Queen Madra, she's like immortal or something? Yeah, I guess. Sirius tells her about a Fey Rebellion fanfiction, and the reward, torture, and the surprise, aggressive poking. But she metal bends the dagger, crawls to a weird platform, and pulls a sword, and triggers a ground shift and bonks her on. As she fades, Death shows up. Molten silver, chain around her neck, and Death drags her into darkness. Sirius wakes up cold, confused, and somehow not deleted in Yuvelia's Winter Palace. A Fae named Everlane offers her water, which she chugs like there's no tomorrow. She remembers dying, vaguely, and oh yeah, pulling a sword she was definitely underqualified to do. That stunt gets her noticed by King Belicon. Enter Renfis, mysterious as hell, who warns Everlane that Death is missing his necklace charm, the chain Sirius is now wearing, which weakens him without the pendant. Also, they are totally hiding Death from Everlane's dad. Obviously, Sirius gets a bath and is paraded past of God's statues. She notices Zaret, Chaos God, not officially worshipped, but probably should be. In the throne room, Belicon demands Sirius prove herself and wants to bring out the dog. Surprise! It's not Death, it's Kingfisher, chained, pendantless, and raging. Renfis insists Kingfisher is the key to beating Sanazroth. Yeah, Belicon decides to keep Kingfisher on a magical leash for a week while Sirius figures out how to do the Quicksilver pull. Oh, and Everlane is the daughter of King Belicon. Yeah. Everlane drags Sirius to the palace library, where a scholar Rosalius declares her an alchemist. Kingfisher strolls in with cryptic charm. Notes she probably has Fey blood. And bonus news, Queen Madra probably didn't barbecue the Third World, just drafted them. Sirius confesses she can manipulate metal energy. Kingfisher escorts her to a very old, very gross forge, and they start cleaning. He calls her Oshilit, which sounds poetic until you learn it means short-lived butterfly. He monologues about how the Fae used to drink human blood for immortality, how Quicksilver pools connect worlds while sometimes melting your brain, and how his pendant keeps him from going mad. And the silver in his eyes? Yeah, he's been drinking pool water. He admits he's using her as war leverage. Renfis shows up, demands progress, and gets none. Sirius blames the forge's field, so Kingfisher casually fixes it with magic. Turns out he was testing her the whole time. Also, welcome to Shadow Daddy 2.0. Lane drops some things. Madra's immortality is very sus. And oh yeah, Lane's 1,400 years old. Kingfisher, older. Also, people swallowed by portals might still be stuck between realities. Kingfisher overhears and scolds Sirius for gossiping about his war crimes. At the forge, she asks about Gilethry. I don't know. He admits he destroyed it for reasons. Yeah. And tests her by shoving Quicksilver into her palm, which is painful. She solidifies it, and punches him. Later, Lane scolds her for punching him. She reveals Kingfisher is her half-brother, son of Finran, aka Messy Royal Scandal. Finran vanished before the portals closed and branded traitor by Bellicon. And Bellicon still blames Kingfisher for his mom's failure to produce a male heir. Gross. Later, Kingfisher crashes Siri's room, teasing her about her attraction to him. And yeah, he can smell it. Oh my. Lane barges in and also can smell it, embarrassing Siris. Kingfisher covers for her with his brutal escapades and promises Quicksilver training. Rosalius explains alchemists can direct portals if they focus. Siris secretly decides she gonna find Bellicon's Quicksilver pool and bolt. Back at the forge, Kingfisher whips out powdered Faebone, catches a white fox, and nearly deletes it until Siris intervenes. They try mixing bone ash with Quicksilver. Fail. And when Siris asks to touch his pendant, he says he's about as stable as his emotional state. Then comes the heat. He encourages her to experiment with attraction. They kiss, and Siris immediately vows it won't happen again. Sure. Yeah, sure. Kingfisher exits dramatically. Siris sneaks through the Winter Palace with the fox and dips into Quicksilver pool. She is immediately busted by Kingfisher. Furious, she swipes his signet ring, which, plot twist, does absolutely nothing. She demands she stay and craft relics. She says, no, so he bargains. He'll fetch Hayden only if she swears a blood oath. She does. When she reopens the pool, Kingfisher appears with Carrion Swift, who totally lied about being Hayden and smells like Siris and now needs healing. And they both. At the pub, Kingfisher reveals they're headed to Kahlish, his childhood home with Daddy's magical security system still active. Ren bursts in. Bellicon is fuming. Bound by the blood oath, Fisher shoves Siris through a shallow gate despite her protests. The next morning, Carrion delivers good news. Hayden's still alive and the third ward is not crispy. Siris agrees to help Fisher forge relics, on the condition she and Carrion get to bail back to Jules Verne afterward. But at the forge, she warns he has a lot of rings. And by a lot, I mean a lot. Which means her help just turned into an eternal, unpaid internship. Siris tries to make relics, but she keeps failing. Ren suggests dinner with Kingfisher to build trust. Over the meal, Fisher reveals Bellicon is hoarding Quicksilver. But then, Feeders attack. Fisher whips out his sword Nimerel, goes full action hero, and saves Siris. Note, only Silver kills Feeders. Later, Siris wakes in Fisher's bed. They argue about Faye's superiority until she realizes the blood oath now literally forces her to stay in bed. She's in bed for 5 days. And he's gone, only let out for essentials. On day 5, Carrion visits her, teases her about sleeping in Fisher's bed, and offers some extracurricular activities in need. She refuses, but when he brags about his fancy post-bath boots from Fisher, she realizes why Fisher could smell her on him. Yeah. Back at the forge, she's still failing when Ren flooded with news. Fisher wants another dinner. She drags Carrion along. At the table, Carrion flirts shamelessly. Fisher radiates jealousy and then uses the blood oath to force Siris to eat. She accuses him of cruelty, and he counters with heavy flirting, reminding her he could command her into steaminess with him, but he doesn't, which somehow is worse. Ren and Fisher both catch a whiff that she's not entirely opposed to the idea, leaving her mortified. And here, I'm gonna ask you to like the video and maybe subscribe. Thank you! Siris, Fisher, Ren, and Carrion row into Inir's war camp. Ren trains Siris and Carrion in swordplay. She gains confidence, and Fisher gains new snark material. Siris later ends up in Fisher's tent. Thing gets steamy until he stops mid-kiss. At the War Council, Carrion notices a totally suspicious neck wound on her. Captain Danya is very mad at Fisher, and Siris shatters her sword with her powers. And Fisher leads a mission to crack river ice, ruining the enemy's crossing across the river. Malcolm, the main body, he shows up and throws emotional shade and says Fisher was with him. Yeah, I forgot about that. Kingfisher was missing for a long time. Yeah, and Malcolm says that he was with him. Interesting. Back in Kahlish, Fisher separates Siris and Carrion, even bans snack sharing. He explains Malcolm rejected the Faker's cure, creating vampires who spread feeders. Fisher and Siris heat up again, this time all the way to steamy Spicy Town. And the next morning, Siris wakes with a magical tattoo, and Fisher storms off after she mentions being sterilized as a teen. That was really hard to read, to be honest. Yeah. Examining Danya's broken sword reveals it's tied to Fisher's elite squad. Sirius drinks with Warette, who spills that Fisher is oath-bound and literally incapable of lying. Also, fey blood drinking, super taboo, and super steamy thing. So yeah, her next questions multiply. He adds that Fisher once saved his life by binding their souls. Fisher then whisks Sirius off to Ballard. She's frustrated by failed relic work and missing Hayden. At dinner, a voice yells, "Unrat, more," in her head. Very mysterious. Later, in Fisher's apartment, she stays by his side through a Quicksilver poisoning episode, and boom, things go sauna level. They also discover they can speak telepathically. Next morning, Fisher gives her a month to decide whether to keep the mysterious tattoos on her body. Following Carrion's advice, Sirius asks Quicksilver for a relic, and the Quicksilver demands blood, so she forges Danya's sword. So it was that easy, just ask it. Quicksilver then demands a song, and Red delivers a dramatic Fisher ballad. The sword names itself
Aviziev.
I'm not even gonna try. And chooses Red as its master. Later, Fisher bets Sirius, and she tries to extract the toxic Quicksilver from his body, but it's sealed with a lifelong contract. He thanks her anyway. Then Ren bursts in. The vampires are back. Sirius fights along Fisher and Ren, slicing down death. But Everlane arrives mid-battle, freshly beaten by Malcolm. Tawadeus issues an ultimatum: deliver Sirius or Everlane dies. Meanwhile, Danya tries to reclaim her sword, but this guy has attachment issues and chops off her hand. In the aftermath, Fisher heals Danya and honors Sirius' first real battle, using her full name for the first time. Oh yeah, all this was happening, and he was calling her Osha because of the butterfly, Oshalit. At Kahlish, Sirius accidentally sits in the life chair at dinner, and Danya goes full passive-aggressive, but Ren and Fisher shut it down. The Quicksilver demands a secret, and Sirius admits she's torn between Fisher and her old life. And the Quicksilver, totally a gossip girl, gives her a ring for the secret, but stays quiet about Fisher's dangers. And when she was wearing it, she again hears the chant, "Anurat, more." Here, Telina explains her own runes that symbolize marriage, but she and her husband made them. But appearing on their own, it means God binding, a deadly soul bond where one mate always dies. And Sirius realizes she has way too many runes for someone who did not sign up for this. Furious, she confronts Fisher, and he admits his oracle mom saw Sirius as his mate, and he planned to let the bond fade and ask Ren for help once the Quicksilver consumed him. Very romantic. Sirius vows to find a better solution, and the next morning they share an awkward "let's not talk about it" moment. In the library, Warette says they'll need a witch to break Everlane's curse. Fisher, Ren, and Danya head to Witch Town, where Danya insults everyone within 5 minutes. Fisher convinces a witch, I don't know how to say it, she's Isabel for me, Isabel, to help. When he returns with her, Sirius and Carrion insist on joining the mission. Fisher reluctantly agrees. Fisher begs Sirius to pause their drama until Everlane's rescue. They take a power trip, gets steamy, and Sirius tells the obvious about "I'm human, you're not," but Fisher promises to cherish their time. Next morning, Fisher leaves a "goodbye, I'll probably die, don't wait up" note. Yeah. And Sirius gets mad, appropriately mad. Back at Kahlish, Carrion suggests using Fisher's shadow gate when Everlane arrives. She crashes through, and they follow, and fall into a lake. Warette heroically saves them and gives them painkillers. And what brings Carrion to the living? Saying he is not good in bed. And Ren, he's not there. He didn't make the gate. After a rocky cliff climb, they reach an amphitheater. Fisher surrounded by chanting villains. Charon opens a portal while feeders get close. Fisher warns Sirius telepathically, but it's too late. Fisher is wounded. Belicon, Malcolm, and Madra all get their Bond villain moments. Malcolm frees Fisher from his oath, revealing the truth. Belicon and Malcolm left Gilletry fate to a coin flip. Malcolm caught it mid-air, deal unfulfilled. Fisher burned the city to stop Malcolm's undead army, was exiled in the labyrinth, trying to find the coin, and eventually found the Quicksilver pool. And things escalate. Fisher slays Belicon, Warette torches Malcolm with his shiny silver sword, and Sirius deletes Charon. Again, they flee into the labyrinth, dodge a half-faced spider, and reach the center, and there are piles of coins. There, Fisher reveals that the coin is silver and that it can burn Malcolm. And Malcolm calls Fisher Love? Okay, I didn't expect that. We need more information. Carrion taunts Malcolm into biting him, then reveals his full name, Carrion Dianthus. Because apparently Carrion wasn't dramatic enough, Sirius races to find the coin, conveniently hidden in the spider demon's body. Runes flare as she accepts Fisher as his mate. Malcolm attacks, but Sirius, hopped up on painkillers, pokes him in the head and takes Belicon's coin, freeing trapped souls and Malcolm. The amphitheater collapses. Fisher tries to reach her telepathically. Madra performs a magic escape, and we're at this mid-epic sword fight with Belicon. Surprise, he's not deleted. Sirius faints from all the chaos. Theladeus offers her immortality. Fisher lies, claiming she agreed to save her. Just as she is about to embrace eternal life, Quicksilver pulls her into its realm. There, she meets Zaret, God of Chaos. Zaret reveals Fisher is his champion. Sirius was meant to be Fae, but their union was risking the universe to collapse. He offers her a choice: live freely, saving Fisher. And she's like, yeah, okay, agreed. Then she wakes up feeling awful. Her Fae vampire hybrid transformation is not fun. Theladeus explains her memories were blocked to ease the trauma, and now she remembers everything. Freed from Malcolm, Theladeus is unsure of his next move. Sirius confronts Carrion, who drops a royalty trauma. He is Fae royalty, hidden from 1,000 years by Fisher's death, and immune to Malcolm's venom, thanks to an ancient blood curse. Averlane is alive, but Belicon escaped. Fisher regrets asking Theladeus to transform Sirius. Meanwhile, Telina and Isabel are working to remove Quicksilver from Fisher. And Sirius, since she Malcolm, she is apparently destined to be Queen of Sanazroth. What should I do next? Bye!